Welcome back, everyone. Looney here, and we're back at it again with this Ford Focus cooling fan issue. And I think we found a solution, at least for me. So those of you who may be wondering what's going on, a little bit of a backstory. Let's go and take a look. All right, to quickly go over the problem, cooling fans are not turning on when the car heats up. Well, beyond where they should come on. They weren't activating. So we went through the regulator, new temperature sensor, checked all the relays. So nothing worked, at least, or not worked, at least didn't work for very long. So after much thought and help from my brother-in-law, Crazy Bill's Garage, he does lots of this kind of thing. But anyways, the solution we have come up with is to power the one fan. So it has two fans, and power one fan when the ignition turns on, and just constantly the fan running when the ignition is on. When the ignition is off, it's not running. So how do you do that? Great question. So again, my solution is rigging up, hopefully in a safe manner. Now, of course, this is my own car. If you're unsure how to do any of this, take it to a professional. Don't attempt it yourself, because you could fry everything here. So, but after a lot of research and so forth, I've got myself a relay, 4-pin relay or 4-wire relay. And if I can, so what does a relay do? A relay is a switch that will, well, open up power to something. And there's lots of relays in here. We got fan relays, headlight relays, fuel pump relays, all that kind of good stuff. So this is an automotive thing. What we have here is, this is our solution. So along with actually this little device here. So getting power to the fan, no problem. It runs through the relay. So we have power coming in from the battery. So this will be coming directly from the battery. It has I put in a fuse between the battery and the relay to protect everything in case whatever might go wrong. Power goes into the fuse, power goes into the relay. Power from the relay goes out to, hard to see here. I've cut, there's two wires going into this fan. It's hard to see. Two wires, a power wire and a ground going into this fan. And I've basically cut the wire to the vehicle harness and installed my own power wire. And then, so what the relay does right now, it's closed. Or not closed, it's open, which means there's no power. Even if I hook this up, there's no power running. What a relay does is you connect this to a source of power that only comes on when you turn on the ignition, and that will activate the switch inside and connect the main power to the fan. So this way you're not trying to run a fan off of some other power source that might overload it. So for me, this was not easy to get to, but anyways, we got there. So now, yesterday, I got this. This is, and so instead of trying to find a wire in here and tap into a wire, I was looking through that. It's like, oh, then you're dealing with possible problems with, corrosion or water getting in or whatever. So this may or may not be the solution. It's my heater fan. Sorry, this may not be the solution you all might take, but anyways, this is the one we're going to try because it seems to be, for me, the best. How do these work? Well, It basically takes the power from, I'm going to take this one here. Not exactly sure what it is because it says it gives a number here. It doesn't say what it is, but this fuse right here only has power when the ignition's on. What this little device is, it takes the power. Power comes in this side, and this is the original. The original fuse is 10 amp. This is a 10 amp fuse, and it will power whatever that powers with the 10 amp, protected by a 10 amp fuse. There's also power going up to this top one that goes out this wire here, which is going to power this relay. Now, you don't need much power. You just need a little bit of voltage to pop that over. So there's no, but I have put a 20 amp. No, not, is that a 20? Yeah, there's a 20 amp fuse on the top of there too, but it's not going to really take that much power. But anyways, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to, well, I don't think this is going to, this is not, there we go. So that fuse is out. And this one's going to go in like so. Now, these are originally designed for the fuse box inside the car. This inside fuse box doesn't have this, so I'm going to have to put a little access hole and take that back out. I'm going to have to drill a little hole in the side of here so that I can get this through there so that the lid can close properly. So, and then we're going to take a little bit of this, what gauge is this? 16 gauge wire, which looks like about the same gauge as this, and the same gauge. This looks like a little bit thicker, not too much thicker. Approximately the same gauge wire, and yeah. So I'm gonna rig that up now. Everything else is pretty much rigged up. I could demonstrate how that. You know what? Maybe we will. I'm gonna demonstrate just to double check one more time to show you how this all works. All right, so you have the positive cable to the positive, negative cable. I used a yellow wire for negative. I got my power probe here, which gives me positive and negative power probe. They're very, very handy. Anyways, so positive power, it's going to act as the ignition power here. And so let's go. Oh, hard to do when you're... We have fanage. All right, so now it's just a matter of getting my, I'm going to solder. All these connections are soldered and shrink wrapped with the shrink tubing so that it's all nice and solid, closed up. We're going to, so I'm going to wrap this all up, get it all set up, get it all hooked up, set up here, and I'm going to show you the final product, and then we're going to test it with the ignition on. All right, so we're wired up. Here is our trigger power lead. And this came with a connector, so just connector. I'm going to, once we make sure everything's good here, I put a tiny little hole to the side so that fits in there really nice. I tested that we have power to this wire when the ignition's on, so that's worked. And then when it's closed, just a tiny littlest hole. This air intake goes right here. So I'm trying to see what I'm doing and looking through. So we're just going to test it now. It's all set up. We're going to turn on the ignition. Ta-da! Yes, the fan will run constantly when the ignition's on. In winter, it'll probably won't come up to temperature as quickly or as well, but it's better than constantly being worried it's gonna overheat and then be stranded on the highway somewhere or whatever. So anyways, now that you know everything's working, I'm going to put it all back together, mount this in a nice place, get these wires all tucked in nicely and where they're safe and not going to rub against anything, and we'll come back and I'll show you the final product. All right, and there she is, all wrapped up. Got the wires neatly tucked away in here and secured. Got my power, my trigger, you can call it trigger wire here, routed in here, power there. This will be fine here. Nothing's really interfering with anything. Think she'll be okay. Double checking. Ta-da! Want to give a special thanks to my brother-in-law, Crazy Bill. Check him out, Crazy Bill's Garage. He does all sorts of crazy things like this. He gave me some help with this. Electrical is not my specialty. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you out. Again, if you're unsure of doing any of this, consult a professional. Not me. I'm not a professional. But anyways, again, thanks for watching. And yeah, I usually say do what you love and love what you do. Until next time, or until this thing needs something else breaks on it. Till next time, bye for now.